Hey guys, what's up? Lightboltjoe here. Today we're going to discuss Season 3 of 13 Reasons Why, the Netflix original film based off the best-selling book. Season 1 was about Hannah Baker. Season 2 was about the trial of Hannah Baker, but Clay's grief and guilt, more so grief, which we had discussed in depth. But all of the primary characters and secondary characters all have their own secrets as well. So Season 3, when it was announced that Season 3 was happening, everyone was like, alright, but Hannah's not the main character anymore. Clay is obviously the main character because of Season 2. So how is Season 3 going to play out, you know? Like, what kind of story we're going to get, etc. And then there's been a lot of speculation about what else to show on television, what else to show on the internet, about teenagers dealing with these real-life problems. And that's always been the interesting conversation, that people are very uncomfortable talking about this show, watching this show, because it depicts very real-life scenarios, very real-life situations. Rape, suicide, sexual assault in any degree, drug use, addiction, murder, covering things up, weapons, etc. So then, two-ish months ago, roughly, Netflix released the trailer for Season 3 of 13 Reasons Why. And it literally was, who killed Bryce Walker? And you're like, what just happened right now? And then you watch this trailer and you're like, holy shit. This is going to be insane. The audacity of this production company to give us literally the ending of the season. How could they do such a thing? But also, they killed the monster. So then it's a matter of, why did they kill the monster? How'd they kill the monster? Who killed the monster? And you're like, oh my god, like they actually are going in a completely different direction, and the show's evolving. The show's evolving. The characters are evolving. I was so on board. I am still on board. Season 3 came out 3 days ago. Premiered Friday night at midnight. It is now Monday. I finished all 13 episodes. I wanted to watch it all day Friday, but, you know, work and adult and bills to pay, you know, that whole tale as old as time thing. So I had off today, Monday. I finally finished it. Let me tell you that I have been very vocal about being an emotional person when I read or watch certain things. I have no issue saying I cried during this movie, or I cried during that scene of that TV show, I cried reading this chapter of this book, etc. Right? I've said this many times. There's nothing to be ashamed of with showing emotion. You're human. You're supposed to have emotion. I cried more watching this season than I did probably any other show. Now, Season 3 of Stranger Things just came out, right? Last month. About a month and a half ago. No, about a month ago. No, a month and a half. Yeah, it came out July 4th, so a month and a half. I cried a few times during that season. I expressed my gratitude and amazement towards the writers, the producers, the actors, the cast in general, based on the storytelling and the portrayal of that particular stories, right? But then here we are with Season 3 of 13 Reasons Why, and I'm still in disbelief as to how beautiful and tragic and poetic and horrifying this season was. So we're introduced to this new character, Ani. She is originally from some eastern country in Africa, but then her mom and her are from the UK, and then her mother is a home health aide, and she was hired to work in the Chatham House, which is Bryce Walker's grandfather's house. And then his mom, Nora, is living there because Bryce's dad and mom are now divorced. So they're all there, and then Ani and Bryce meet each other, and like they don't go to the same school because Bryce was kicked out of Liberty High and he goes to Hillcrest. So that's the little like beginnings. But the way that this season is told, it starts out in the middle. Kind of. It starts out with Ani doing a confession about everyone's secrets and stuff like that, and like she's the narrator of Season 3. So it was interesting. And then you have these flashbacks to everything that was surrounding this homecoming fight and Jessica and the hands-off groups, protests and stuff to that nature. But then eventually it picks up. But what I really liked the cinematography was how when they were doing present shots, you had a widescreen shot. But when they were doing a past shot, they opened the screen up and the colors were more vivid. So I really liked that dynamic. Again, storytelling is evolving. Cinematography is evolving. Character development is evolving. The writers on this show, stunning. Absolutely fantastic. Impeccable because of how it changed. How it went from 1 to 2 to now 3. Incredible. Moving on, you have, your dynamic of this group of friends who inadvertently became friends because of these tapes from Hannah Baker. Hannah Baker, like I said, was the main character of season 1. Season 1 was all about her suicide and why she committed suicide. The 13 reasons why. She was mentioned 57 times in season 3. I actually have a note in my phone. Every time someone mentioned the word Hannah or Hannah Baker or Han, I wrote it. It's 57 times. All 13 episodes, it was 57. There's more clarification on certain aspects. You have Olivia Baker, who's Hannah's mom, interacting with Nora. Walker, Bryce's mom. Bryce raped Hannah. You have Nora interacting with Tony. You have Nora interacting with... not Nora. You have Olivia interacting with Tony. You have Olivia interacting with Clay. But again, this is still Clay's story. You still have Clay and Justin, being brothers. They now live in, like a guest house kind of a thing in the back of their parents' house, which is really cute. It's like, like a dorm kind of a thing. And I live for the Justin and Clay moments. It was just great throughout. And then Clay's development, being a person of interest in the murder case of Bryce Walker then. Justin's character development throughout the whole thing. He has a relapse again, and it's just, everyone has his back. He confesses some sexual assault stuff that happened to him when he was younger, to Jess. Jess is in charge of this hands-off group, this HO group, the HO group, at school, now as the elected student body president. It's a survivors and allies group, basically. Tyler, who we last see at the end of season 2, about to, shoot up the entire school at the spring fling, has been taken care of by everyone now. And no one knows what happened to Tyler, why Tyler wanted to do this. So no one pressured him to say anything. He was always very skittish afterwards, but he got better. He started to take pictures of his bruises healing, and he started to see his own change for the good, for the positive, in a means of healing kind of a thing. In episode 8, he confesses to Clay about what Montgomery and those guys did to him in the bathroom. I had not cried that much while watching something. And to see the emotion that these actors had, especially the kid who plays Tyler, astounding. Absolutely astounding. My chest physically hurt watching the emotion being portrayed on this screen. And you're watching this, and before and after each episode, there's always a, crisis hotline kind of a thing. If anyone needs to talk to someone, this is a number to contact. And like I said, people are uncomfortable watching this. People get uncomfortable talking about this. But it's something to talk about because it happens. You cannot just push something away and pretend it doesn't exist because you don't want it to exist. That's not how this works. Sometimes you have to acknowledge what's happening, face it head on, and learn to deal and or progress from it, / with it. Just standing up for herself, becoming that true survivor, not being a victim anymore. Justin facing the fact that he is a drug addict and he needs help. Tyler confessing that Montgomery brutally sexually assaulted him in the bathroom, and that's what sparked the spring fling bit. Zach had his own issues. Alex had his own issues. The list goes on, and it's interesting seeing all of the cooperation of these friends, but Clay's the one that is the glue that sticks everyone together. Everyone obviously holds these secrets, but what's going on? What's moving forward, right? The whole premise of the show, the season 3 was who killed Bryce Walker, right? That was in the trailer, that was the tagline, that was on all the posters you see everywhere. Who killed Bryce Walker? It wasn't one person that killed Bryce Walker. Bryce Walker was a monster. He was attempting to change. He was trying to change. You felt bad for him at certain points in this season. You're like, wait a minute, why am I feeling bad for this not convicted, but why am I feeling bad for this rapist who is a monster? But you see that he is trying to change. He genuinely wants to try to change until the very end when he then drowns. So, we're going to discuss the death of Bryce Walker, right? The homecoming dance was on a Friday, and Jessica's HO group was doing a protest about sexual assault and rape culture and violence within boy sports, right? That was the general shtick of it. Bryce is on the Hillcrest football team. The Hillcrest football team was, playing against Liberty High's football team, right? So you had all the Monty and all the football guys there. Justin was there, Zach's there, etc. Bryce and Zach get at it. Monty and Bryce get at it. Justin and Monty get at it. Justin and Bryce get at it. Clay then jumps onto the field when all these fighting comes into effect. Bryce breaks Zach's leg from a tackle. Bryce then threatens Monty because Bryce is found out about what he did to Tyler because Tyler went to go shoot Bryce. And then Bryce and Tyler talked it out, and Bryce said, listen, I'm trying to make amends. I did not send Monty to do that. I am sorry that happened to you. I will take care of it. So then Bryce threatened Monty because Monty is having these latent homosexual tendencies and he beat up a guy that he hooked up with, and Bryce got involved to pay the guy off and all of this stuff, right? So then afterwards, Bryce realizes that he needs to try to heal. He needs to try to do better. So he listens to the tapes that Hannah actually did with Tony, understands what Hannah's pain was because he never understood it because he didn't want to understand it because he doesn't have that little conscious voice kind of a thing. He makes his own tape for Jessica as an apology. I'm sorry I raped you. The pain, it can never be undone, and I'm trying to understand. I'm trying to, do better. So he wants to meet Jessica at the docks to give her the tape after the homecoming game. So Zach follows Bryce to the docks because Bryce makes a comment about Chloe, who is Bryce's ex, but Zach's current kind of girlfriend, who Zach helps with the abortion that Chloe was pregnant with Bryce's kid, and it's this whole thing. So Bryce and Zach go at it. Bryce gets the shit kicked out of him from Zach. Zach breaks his arm. Zach breaks his leg. Literally beats him, coughing up blood. Chest broken, coughing up blood. On the docks. Walks away. By the time that Zach drives away, after he throws his phone in the water, Alex and Jessica are the ones who come because Jessica needs to have someone with her to make sure she's safe whenever, Bryce is to give her this thing, because she wants closure, but she is going to allow him to say something because he wants to give her something as like an apology kind of a thing. So he winds up giving her the tape, but then Alex feels bad and tries to help him up, and then he's like, I'm gonna kill Monty, I'm gonna kill Zach, how dare he, the audacity, all that stuff. And then Alex like, the hell with this, you're a monster. And he sees it in his eyes, and he just pushes him over, and he drowns because he has a broken arm and a broken leg, and he can't swim, obviously. So then there's the murder investigation. But like I said, this season is shot before and after and in between, and there's a lot of back and forths. I've expressed my hatred towards Haunting of Hill House, which is another Netflix show, because of that back and forth thing. But there's a certain way to do a back and forth storytelling, and this is a way to do back and forth storytelling. Loved it. It's great. Haunting of Hill House? Absolutely not. This made perfect sense, and I was totally fine with it. And I encouraged it because of the way the cinematography worked, and the brighter scope, and the colors, and lighting, etc. So, the matter is, who killed Bryce Walker? It wasn't one singular individual. But they have Ani as this scapegoat kind of a thing, and she makes up these stories to have everyone cooperate, all because of Clay, because Clay is the one who is the person of interest. Clay is the one who has been arrested. Clay is the one who was bailed out. Clay is the one who has a GPS monitor on his ankle. Clay is the one everyone wanted to pin as the murderer, but he never broke. he then concocted the plan with everyone to pin it on Monty, because Monty was just arrested as a sexual assaulter, right? Rape in the first degree, something to that extent, because Tyler actually confessed to help Clay out, because Clay helped Tyler out so much. So as Monty's in jail, Monty actually gets killed in jail, and Ani has this speech with Alex Stendhal's father, who is a deputy: let the dead bury the dead. Because technically Alex is the one who pushed him over the dock, and his father kind of knows that because of the prints, because of the tire marks from the car, etc. Because of the left limping kind of a thing that Alex still has from when he tried to kill himself. So it was a literal let the dead bury the dead. But then, of course, the guy that Monty hooked up with right before he died, Winston, is trying to now figure out something. So we're left with that mini cliffhanger, and we're left with another mini cliffhanger of a fisherman pulling up a bag of guns that Tyler had from the spring fling from the river, right? Tiny little mini cliffhangers, not too bad. So that's the thing. It's who killed Bryce Walker. They all killed Bryce Walker. It wasn't one singular individual that killed Bryce Walker. Clay threatened the hell out of him numerous times. Ani, was hooking up with him, but she wasn't hooking up with him. But then she's the one who became that scapegoat to tell the story that was a logical story, to pin it all on Monty, because Monty's a horrible, horrible person. And it worked. They all got away with it. And we're left the very end of the 9 of them, and Charlie's included in this as well. They're all listening to Bryce's tape to Jessica in Justin and Clay's, dorm room kind of a thing. Then we go to Monet's coffee shop where Justin is making a speech about Tyler and his art, and he said to Tyler to, have a little gallery at Monet's, and the curtains dropped, and then Tyler explains that these pictures are all his friends who helped him get better. And it's everyone's on the wall that helped him through it in one way or another. And he and Zach have a little heart-to-heart, and Clay and Tyler have a heart-to-heart. And then the very, very end moment is Clay, Justin, and Jess sitting on the couch saying, the couch is comfy, we deserve happiness. And, they're just tired and looking forward to being happy. And it's beautiful because it's a matter of what would you do for your friend? What will you do for your friends? What do you know is right for your friends? Should they have covered up this murder that many of them were part of? You're supposed to say no, right? That's the moral thing to do. You're supposed to say no. But they show in this show, it's interesting how I said that. What would you do to survive? That was the premise of the. If this, like how in Avatar: The Last Airbender or Avatar: Legend of Korra, each season was titled something like Spirits, Change, things like that. If 13 Reasons Why did that, this season 3 would be called Surviving. Because that word was implemented in so many different forms of speech. Whether you're a sexual assault survivor, whether you're a drug addict survivor, whether you're a just survivor of anything, any form of violence, any form of mental illness, any form of anything. Alex tried to kill himself, but he survived. Justin is trying to survive, even though he's an addict. Just survived from that rape and the trial that Bryce was never convicted for. Tyler survived his sexual assault from Monty and those goons. It's having that courage to finally tell your truth when you're ready to tell your truth. And it's inspiring. I just posted something that, if anybody needs to talk, send me a message. I even put the National Suicide Hotline number on the post too. This show makes people uncomfortable, and it's important to be uncomfortable because people are in their own little bubble and they don't want to think of terrible things that are happening to other people. And there's so much shit going on in this country and in the world that some of it you can control and some of it you can't control. And the only thing you can do is scream and be heard. And that's what that whole HO thing was about. Having the truth being told. Making sure everyone has a voice to share that truth. It's poetry. It's justice. It's poetry. I am so impressed with this show and the actors and actresses that are a part of it. I'm not going to name everyone. There's so many of them. But, I follow all of them, on social media, and it gave me a lot of anxiety waiting for the season to come out, because I was like, when the hell is the season coming out? And then season 4 is going to be the last final season, whenever that comes out. But this show is brilliant, and these actors are pure talent. Absolutely pure talent. And I am in awe. I am in awe. It's deep. It's deep, man. It's deep. It just makes you think, and that's the point of the show. It's to make you think. It's not just fluff to get you out of, the real world shit that you're going through. It mirrors the real world shit that you're going through. It makes you think. Bottom of the video, in the info section, there is the number for the National Suicide Hotline. If anybody needs to talk, by all means, please call them. Because you can survive. We're all surviving. That's the premise of season 3. Survival. You can do it. I can do it. So can you. Mucho mahalo, guys.